All right. Now we can go.
So we are now on our
episode number 2. Nobody thought we'd make it this long, and look at us go.
I'm still talking to you guys after the first episode. This is amazing.
And Brooklyn has not had her baby yet.
Yes,
If you listen to episode 1, we were thinking
if you hang out long enough, it may
So we are hoping that it happens today.
Yes.
That would be cool though, like 0220.
Aren't there things that like help like
Yeah, I'm
induce or
doing it
start?
right now.
Obviously,
Who?
because the majority of them are not good for other people to know about.
All right. Well, I'm sorry I brought it up. Let's forget I mentioned it.
Highly inappropriate.
Once again,
Mac.
new subject.
I feel like you have to be pregnant forever so we can just continue talking about
Yeah,
this.
I've been pregnant forever. Everyone keeps having their baby, and I'm like, what about me?
So do we even know what this is? Episode 2 of Broker Disclosure.
Broker disclosure.
episode
Yes,
two,
we are
broker
4 brokers, and we are disclosing information.
Everything.
And a lot of episodes in the future are going to be informational
Yeah.
Yes.
and educational.
Yes.
But not this one. Psych.
I'm pretty sure somebody will learn something from us today.
So what are we? Oh, we were going to share stories today.
We do have a story time today.
Showing stories.
Showing stories. Who wants to start us off?
Anybody?
Oh, I'll start you off.
All right.
Oh, did you
She
hear that
sounds like
tone?
she's about ready to lay down the gauntlet. I've got a good one.
It is, well, I have a couple that are really good, but this is my favorite story to tell people when they're wondering what real estate is like.
All you
with
do is
clients.
go into your houses.
Yeah.
And you get
No,
paid.
you don't even check. You just unlock the door. Open.
Well, this house, so I had two couple, and they had 2 small kids, and I was showing them a house, okay? And their children are probably, I don't know for sure, it was a boy and a girl. The little girl was probably 3 or 4, and the little boy was in kindergarten. He was like 5. And I'm showing them this 2-story house, okay? It has steps that are very steep. So the parents are paying no attention to their children, and it's scaring me because these little kids are running up and down these steps and playing on these steps, and I'm just sure one of them is going to fall down the steps and like break their head open or like something, and then it's going to be like my fault, or I'm responsible or whatever. So I'm watching these children, helping them up the steps. I'm not telling them no. I'm just like, yes,
You're just
we can go.
babysitting.
I'm just babysitting these kids while their parents are looking at the house. Anyway, so the parents say, oh, well, we're going to go outside and look around. Oh, yes, please go outside. Well, they didn't take their kids with them.
Well, of course not.
I'm left inside the house with their 2 small children. They're just running everywhere, whatever. So they go back up the steps again, and I say, oh, no, we're not. I'm done. I'm like, we're not gonna play. We're not gonna play on the steps.
Locked out.
So I stand in front of the steps and like put my arms out. I'm like, no, we're not. Go somewhere else. We're not playing on the steps. The little boy looks up at me and gives me like the meanest face, and then bites me on the stomach.
What?
Yeah, he bit me and grabbed on and did not let go. And I grabbed his shoulders.
What did you do? I was like,
I grabbed his shoulders. Well, I didn't want to, smack
Hurting.
someone's kid. Yeah, I'm like, oh my gosh. So I grabbed his shoulders and I pulled him off, and we looked at each other and I said, don't do that. And then he ran off, and they went outside with their parents or whatever, and I was just in shock. I did not know what to do. The parents were not there. The parents don't even know the kid bit me, but he bit me. So then
You didn't
later,
tell them?
no, I didn't tell them.
I'm trying to sell
I'm
house.
trying to sell Gotta have our priorities
You
right.
approach that. You walk outside and you're like, by the way,
Yeah, your kid.
I've been like that
by the
little
way, I
ornery
just took a chunk out of my belly.
bleep bit me. That's what I've been like.
I said nothing. They have no idea. I did not sell them that house, but I ended up selling them a house. So it all
And you
worked
bought
out
him
good.
like mouth guard or something,
No.
like for the closing gift.
Wear a bulletproof vest
Yeah.
and next showing.
A lot of padding.
Well, after they left, you know, I got in my car, and so then I hadn't looked at it or whatever, and pulled my shirt up. I had like a bruise, like where his teeth were. Like he latched on.
I remember when she came back to the office and she was like, I had a kid bite me.
Yeah, that's never happened. I've
I
had
would
lots of
have,
crazy kids.
I would have
but-
lost it. Like, I'd have been done. Like, I just
Yeah.
don't like kids anyway.
Yeah, oh yeah.
And I
like
definitely
had
would
one
not
or
like him
anything.
then.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have more stories than that, but that's my fave. I mean, just
It's wild.
Yeah.
That's
Control your
fantastic.
kids.
Yeah.
That is fantastic.
Like I'll babysit. Like I do like
Yeah.
kids, and I'll like mess with your kids, talk to
Yeah.
your kids, you know,
Yeah.
whatever. But that time was just, it was wild.
I shared a house the other day, and they had a little girl with them, and I'm like the helicopter mom. I'm like, be careful, watch what you're doing, don't do that. Oh, get your fingers out of there, watch out.
Right.
And I'm like, can you imagine how bad I am with my
Yeah.
own kid?
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, you'll be fine. I'm like, no, it's
Nah.
gonna be the same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh goodness. Let's see. Mine involves an animal.
Okay.
So we were discussing animals earlier.
We were.
Right.
We were before we
What
started.
was the comment? You were
The
like,
comment was we were going to make all those showing stories about animals, and so far we're one
I-
for one.
we were, but I think the comment right before we said that we were like, we're doing animals, and I was like, what? We're doing what?
Do Philly.
I walked in way late on that conversation. But mine, I have a really good friend who is an investor friend, who I've shown several properties for. He actually, I've known him for about 30 years. So, anyways, we walked into, it's that little house by Dewey. I think that your family ended up purchasing that. It was that little 2-bedroom. You walked up the stairs. I don't know what street that is. Anyways, it had
Was it on JFK?
no, next road over.
Okay.
What's the one that we go on? Is it 10th?
10th. That will be 10th. Yes, correct.
Anyways, we had walked up, and the house had some water damage in the main floor, but like I said, he's an investor, so he was like, whatever, you know, we'll go in. I think it was listed at like $15,000-$20,000 at that point in time. Anyways, he knows that I'm perfectly
how's she
fine.
talking about?
Yes, it's halfway decent now. Like, they
figured
let
it out.
me work it. But I think it had a fire in it, and then it had some water damage from possibly the fire. I don't remember. But it was in rough shape. And he was like, I think you're the only person I know that is perfectly fine about going in crawl spaces, basements, and if, especially anybody listening, I wear stilettos a majority of my life. I think I was
You're
born in
still shorter
stilettos.
than everybody
Yes, I'm 4'10", so with heels I'm 4'11" and a half. You know.
It's fine. It's great.
But anyways, I'm in my heels, walking down in this basement, and he said something about, where are you going? Because I was going to the very far back of the basement, and I was like, there's a shower. So there was like this nasty basement, and it was like one of those old locker tiled showers.
Oh, yeah.
And it kind of like spiraled around. Anyways, I was going back there, and he's like, what if there's snakes and stuff back there? I was like, I don't care. I was like, but I hear something hissing. And I was like, so I stopped for a minute, and I was like, so do I keep going? And I'm having that thought, and he's giggling behind me because he's like, I cannot believe this little girl's just walking into here. And he goes, I don't do snakes. And I was like, I mean, that's fine. I mean, if they're there, it's a gardener snake. It's not going to be anything serious. So I go back there, and I'm like, I hear it hissing loud. Like, it's hissing really loud. And he's like, I'm going to need you to stop. And I'm like, okay. And and he's like, turn towards me. And I was like, okay. And it's dark because there's no power in this place. And I'm like, did you hear it? I hear it really, really loud now. And it was right here. It was a bat. And it is
A bat is hissing?
Yes. Have you heard them?
No.
Yes, they hiss.
I didn't
And
know
it
they did
was-
such things.
PO'd that I was right here up in its space. And it was dark down there, and so it was very, very, but we had the back exterior door. So here's the stairs, and then here's the back dark part. And here we are, and here it is. And he's like, what do you need to do? And I was like, I don't know. And he goes, I'm going to run. And I was like, well, I'll be right behind you. And he's asking me all of these questions, like, as we're going, can you run in stilettos?
Yes, I can.
Yes, I can. But we made it out, and he was like dying whenever we get outside, and I was like, well, so I'm okay with bats, but I don't like them here. Like, that's not my favorite.
I've been in a basement before with some kind of same situation where with 2 investors, and I go down into the basement, and then they're behind me, and then like there's a you know, of course there's no power, but there's a window in this basement, and so a bat comes flying, and it's backlit by this window.
Oh, let me see it.
It's the
coming
Batman.
towards us.
Oh no.
And I, you know, use an
scream.
expletive and turn around, and we all run out into the yard, and they're laughing so hard at me. And I'm like, listen, sorry, I was not professional at all what I just said, but
It's what I thought.
I wasn't getting hit in the face with a bat, okay?
Yeah.
It's like basements just suck.
Yes, they
Yeah.
do.
Like one of my best animal stories, we went down into this basement. We were over like Marceline or Macon or somewhere over there. I don't even remember where we were at. It's this young couple, they're first time home buyers, and they're probably 20 or 22, and they're not even married, they're just dating. So we go down in this basement, and I'm like, you know, being authoritative, and I'm like, yeah, this is a basement, you know, and it's only like a partial basement, and then you have little holes that go to the different parts of the house that are on a crawl space, and you guys have all seen these types of houses.
Yeah.
So I'm standing there, and I'm kind of shining my light back, and I'm standing, you know, 3 or 4 feet away from this hole, and I'm shining my flashlight back into this hole, and they go, there's a raccoon. And I'm like, oh, really? I'm like, well, that's good. All right, not good, but I was like, I wanted to see it. So I kept kind of like moving around like this with my light, looking back in that hole, which is like, you know, 5 or 6 feet of depth. And they're like, raise up a little bit higher. And so I raise up, and I'm looking back there, and I can't see nothing. And they go, just a little bit more, and you'll see it. And I go like this. That raccoon is in the floor joist, it's like a foot in front of my face. When I raised up the last time, that coon backed up and was like, and I'm like, oh my. And they're like, we thought you were just really comfortable with it. And I'm like, I didn't see it.
He was like, his name is George.
It's like, why didn't you tell me it was right by, like it could have reached out and clawed me.
A little higher.
They got
a little
it.
higher.
Yeah,
He's
they're
gonna
like,
like give you a high
you
five
got
or
to
something.
see it. And I'm like, but they just, I don't know, and then I don't think I ever sold those people out.
Did you ever sell that house?
Oh no.
Oh no.
People usually don't like varmints in their home.
I mean, what if it was a pet though?
Well, I don't think it was. The foaming of the
friendly.
mouth alerted me to maybe it wasn't quite.
Maybe you should get a rabies shot as well.
Yeah.
I have a mini story that's just kind of funny. I went to go show a house, and the little girl was there, and they had a snake, and like a pet snake, and she was like,
What kind of snake?
I don't know.
They're all python or
Yeah,
something.
something like
But
that.
it was a big one.
I don't
It was
know.
like big, full grown, big.
But
Yeah.
she's like, good thing you're showing now. We lost that snake for like 4 weeks. And I was like, just like in your house? Yeah, but we found it. I'm glad it's in the cage now.
You're like, are you sure you're not lying and you replaced
Yeah.
that for your daughter and
Ooh.
it's actually
Right.
loose?
Yeah, I have. So I showed a house, and it was vacant. It was actually one of our agents in our office, Joe Hardy's house, and I showed this like really cute older couple that were very sweet and innocent, and we were looking, and we were in the dining room, not even in the basement. Okay, we're in the dining room.
Yeah, this happened regular spot in the
Yes,
dining
in the
room.
daylight.
With a very pretty like bookshelf.
Yeah, it was in a built-in, and there is like this thing hanging, and it's like curved or whatever, and I'm like, is that a snake? And they're like, no, you know, whatever. So we're like all looking at it, and then they're like, it's fake. It's not even a real snake. Like someone's playing with us, whatever. So they're like, whatever, don't care. They're going on.
Joe just put that there.
Yeah, he just put it there. But they're like, it's too shiny to be real. And I was like, okay, whatever. I don't know anything about snakes, but that's fine. So they're like looking, and the whole time they're looking, I'm like watching that snake. Because I'm not convinced that it's fake. And then it starts moving, and I'm like, it's effing moving. And I was like, I am so sorry. I cannot believe I just said that. And I was like, it is real. It is moving. I've got to get out of here. And they were like, oh, honey, it's okay. And I ended up calling Joe, and I was like, Joe, you have a snake in your house. You need to come get it out. He was sick. I was like, I forgot you were sick, but you still need to get the snake out.
Whenever he came back to the office the next day, Joe was like, so I had a fun conversation. And I was like, with who? And he was like, with Brooklyn. And I was like, yeah. And he goes, so there was a snake.
And it was alive.
And it was
and real.
and real.
Yeah.
And real shiny.
So did he get it out, or did you just?
He did get it out.
Well,
and I
that's
do
good.
believe that they found another snake in that same house. If it was the same one, different one, I don't know. But I did.
Yeah, I think they
that
did.
house.
I think that one was actually in the basement. The second one.
Yeah. Anyway, the house has been vacant for a long time. It was by a little pond, whatever. Like, understandable.
Cute little
house.
But still, no, thank you.
Yeah, snakes and showings don't mix.
No.
They don't. They never do. No.
They don't know that they aren't invited though, and like they're
Yeah, I
just
wasn't
kind of
really
rude
like
about
bothering
it.
anybody, but I was like, ooh, I need you to stay up there, please. And I come down here, and then like we're in this vacant house, so I'm like, there could be more, you know, like.
They could
I
be
don't want to go
infested.
sitting on the furniture because there could be one in the couch. Like, I don't know where to go. So, yeah.
That was the same one that I think before we listed it, we were like, you got to get rid of the beehives that are like
Yeah.
out front, or it was either a
I think
hornet
so.
or
Oh, wow.
beehive. But we were like,
Well, I think it was carpenter bees.
yes.
In the, like, carpenter area.
And we were like, yeah, we're gonna have to go ahead and get rid of those first.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
there were some things, but it was a very cute little house.
Yeah, it was cute, but.
I saw a snake one time going down into a cellar, and I was leading some people, and they're following me, and I'm trucking down the stairs, and I just happened to catch it like move a little bit out of the corner of my eye, and I went past it, and I don't even know why I didn't, but I didn't say nothing to the people. I was like, I'll let him get past it before, because like if I
'Cause
said
that's
something,
smart.
well, it'd have been right
Yeah.
there, and I'd been like, snake! So I let him get past it, and they got down in there with me, and I was like, did you guys see that snake? And they're like, no, where was it? And I was like, I didn't see it till I was already
You're like, you wanted to
past
hang
it.
out with me.
But it's like right there, it was like a black snake, and I mean, it was probably 4 or 5.
Was it like the black mamba?
Well, no, it was not like the black mamba. But it was like 4 or 5 feet long. It was a big one. It was like, ugh. The bad part was now we were down in the cellar.
You're
so
trapped down there and didn't want to go
Wait.
past it again.
I got like a yardstick and poked it, and it slithered away or back into the rocks, and then we
At
went
least
back
it went
up
the
there.
other direction. Like you never know where
Yeah.
they're gonna. Ugh. No, thank you.
Yeah. I have another snake story. The same thing. I went down in the basement, and I was showing a guy his vacant house. This is what I get for showing vacant houses.
Yeah, if you're showing vacant houses or like you're going into
Yeah.
a vacant, just keep your eyes open
Yeah.
for like weird stuff.
Yeah.
Because it's always the vacant
Yeah.
ones that get the
Uh-huh.
critters.
But we were going down to the basement, and he was like, I'm just saying, if you see me running, I don't run, so something's wrong, like, follow. And I'm like, okay, got it. He's like, I don't like snakes. I said, me either, but we still need to look. Okay. So we're going down these stairs, and he's first. He goes in, and then, like, I'm like, oh, how's it, you know, looking down there, whatever. And he has a flashlight, and he's looking as I'm coming down the stairs. So the door frame is, like, right here, and there's a snake right here, like, at my head. And he was like, oh, my gosh, you see that? I looked up, and I could just see the scales. So I run in instead of running out, and I'm like, well, great, now I'm stuck in here.
Now
because
you're
I have
locked
to-
in the basement.
Now I have to go back under the freaking snake. Yeah, it was bad, but we made it. We left the snake where it was. We ran up the stairs.
I have a good one about birds. Everybody love birds.
Yeah. I don't know if I've heard of
I don't
a
think
bird
I've ever
story.
encountered any birds in the
So,
show.
well, the old commercial warehouse that I had, it was
talking
filled
about
with.
pigeons?
It was all different kinds of birds. I mean, there were all of them. So the half of the windows were like broken out. It was the 2-story. Where did you ever go into that warehouse?
I don't think so.
It was
The one
second
down by
level.
Blackwater?
Yeah. So the second level, it was always filled with birds that had gotten in and died. A lot of the windows were very, very clear. Old commercial, probably replaced in the 50s
Yeah.
windows. But they were still pretty good, and there was a lot of lighting in there. So I'm sure a lot of those birds just broke their neck trying to get out, going back out.
Right.
Anyways, I was telling the seller, okay, well, we need to clean this up a little bit. Like, every time I come in here, I know you've been cleaning up, you know, as we go, but maybe we need to get somebody in here like every other day because there's quite a few of them in here. So, and it was 10,000 square feet on one level. Like, it was a lot of square footage. So, anyways, there's birds getting in there. I was going in there with kind of his cleanup crew, and he was like, it looks really good up here. Like, he had just gotten done. And it was so funny. I was like looking around and I'm like, where are they even like getting in? Because we think we've stopped most of the places, and I've like called out, and they've been patching these places where they think they've been coming through. Anyways, literally as I'm looking in the next room and he's coming around the corner and comes through the doorway, a bird comes right through one of the patches and hits the thing, and I was like, clean up on aisle 5! I mean, it just broke its neck and was boom, and he was like, oh my god.
And it came through one of the patches.
They had old skylights in all of these old buildings down here, but they did in the warehouse, which was so weird because that was always a warehouse. It wasn't anything fancy. But they had the skylight, and they had patched it, but it was also the only access point to the roof that they had kept. And so it had some kind of opening.
But
it was
still,
so
it like broke through, it came in and hit the thing and
literally,
died.
I was like, it's looking pretty good, and I'm looking around to see if there's
Went
any
out in a
more.
blaze of glory.
And here he comes, right in front of my face, hits the thing, and the first thing I think of was, clean up on aisle 5, and he was like, holy crap. He's like, did that just happen? Yep, it just happened. Oh, birds.
Yeah. That scared me.
You almost felt like you had to go up there with like a racket.
Yeah.
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 That would have been fun. That's
I
why
don't
they
know
call
that.
those birdies.
Maybe that's why
That's
they call them birdies. Did you think about that before this, or did that just come to
See, that just
you?
came
I
to me. I
think
was
you.
never smart
I'm
like
gonna
that.
accuse you of pre-planning here.
Pre-planning.
Pre-planners.
Well, I was going to say, here just recently, we were talking about bats earlier, but here just recently.
You got all the bat houses.
Yeah, I know.
The frequent
And
flyers.
this one, I've had this house listed a long time, and I had it listed before another time too, and I've sold it once, and now I have it relisted.
Is it like a big 2-story?
Yeah. And I've only seen one bat.
Did I
ever.
tell you about seeing a bat in there?
Yes, and it was hanging from the
Curtains.
Oh,
yeah.
Yes. And during that time, that's the only time I've seen one bat in there, and then these people lived there, and
Was
they
it in the
never saw
attic?
a bat.
When you saw it?
No, it was the same one that Max saw hanging
In the
from
curtain.
the curtains. Yeah.
In the front room.
Yeah, anyway, so the other day, it was after it had been, it's vacant, the house is vacant now. Imagine that.
Ring it up
after-
twice.
Yeah, I know. After it had been like really super cold, okay? So I was worried, like, you know, about water lines and that type of thing. So I just stopped by to like check the house out or whatever after it had been really cold. And I walk into the living room, and there's probably, I don't know, 10 to 12 dead bats all over the living room.
Oh my goodness.
And I am like,
So at first, are you freaking out? Like, are these alive? Or
yeah, I thought they were like just
Yeah.
alive. I mean, they were all
Landmine.
over the carpet.
Yeah, and you're like-
and I was like, what is going
don't.
on? And so I'm like, are they alive? Are they dead? Do I like, you know, so I'm like, got my foot out.
Megan's dancing like this.
Like kicking, like, okay, and I determine, I think they're all dead, whatever. And so I text the seller, and I'm like, hey, it was just, everything's fine, but everything's fine, but there's like lots of dead bats in here. And he's like, what? How did they get it? How did they even get in? I've never seen any there before, whatever. And I said, I don't know. Maybe it was really cold and they like came inside to die or something. And he just thought that was really
one spot.
Yeah, and they were on the one
house was
spot.
huge.
You know what you should have done was do like little cardboard cutouts and like put them like gravestones by each one of them and taken a picture. And
Yeah, I know. Well, and
R.I.P.
he was like, came inside to die. Like, he thought that was so funny that I said that. I said, I don't know what happened.
Everybody wants to be inside to die.
I think we've determined that they probably came through the chimney
Yeah, that's what
and
I
then
was
like got in and then like couldn't get out or whatever.
But why
when it
were
was
they all
really
in
cold.
one?
That's what.
Because
Isn't that
that's
weird?
where the,
Maybe
that's
they
where the
were
fireplace
family.
is.
Oh, it makes sense if
That's
it's
sad.
Yeah.
They were family and they just wanted
That
to
is
be
sad.
together.
But anyway, so
And you
I was
think
like,
they froze to death eventually?
yeah, I think
Sure.
so. Because they probably got in and then were like trying to get back. They couldn't get back out the chimney or something.
Listen, and that
I don't know.
carpet
They
is
were all
plush.
right there.
Yeah.
So that
Probably
carpet was
more.
fantastic.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Aw, you had your own little bat graveyard.
I know, I did. But anyway, he came and took care of them.
Oh,
He
that's
was like,
good.
"Oh, I stopped by and took care of the bats." I'm like, "Thank you," because I was not doing it. I'll do
That
about
was-
anything else.
that
but I'm
was not
gonna
my
pick up.
job.
I
Yeah.
had a house that was vacant, and it was 2-story, went upstairs, and I was like, what is that smell? It smells terrible. I never smelled like this before. Like, what's going on? Dead bat in the toilet. I'm like,
Why did you decide to go in there?
yeah, I'm like, what? And so, long story short, I sold the house, and I'm like talking to the sellers, we're going over contracts and everything, and I'm like, oh, and by the way, could you get the dead bat out of the toilet? I'm not going to, but I think that they would appreciate it if you did.
I don't know if you understand that, but I put that in our listing contract as you
It is
remove dead
cash,
bats
but you need to get the
toilet.
bat out of the toilet. Yeah. I'm not touching it, and it
You may not have
stinks.
seen it. It's in the fine print at the bottom.
Yeah.
Removal of bats in toilet is not my job. Oh.
I'll go in basements, but I always say I'll do a lot for my clients, but going in crawl spaces is not one of them.
Yeah, I don't do that.
I've
Crawl
done
spaces.
too.
Crawl space is the only thing that I won't.
But I don't.
I've been in a few crawl spaces,
Yeah.
but never. I haven't had to
I've
hear.
been in a
like-
lot.
I have the gravel ones with the lights.
Oh yeah, that one. I could do that.
Or with the
So you can
plastic.
jack off.
Yeah.
Oh,
But-
fine.
Yeah.
I think that most inspectors are just like, "You're little, go," and I'm like,
Yeah.
"You're a jerk."
And I'm like, you're an inspector, you go.
That's what I think. You're an inspector. You go.
Well, at the very
go.
get-go, 15 years ago, I was like, "Okay, I'll do anything," And then now I'm like, those shoes cost me $15. I don't want to ruin them today.
Yeah.
But other than that, I mean, I don't mind it. Honestly, in the old houses, it's kind of fun to see.
I love going into old
How?
basements.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, you guys want to go down there?
Yeah.
Basements.
How cool is this basement? And then the buyers are like, it's a basement.
Yeah,
And
or
I'm
they're
like,
like,
but
you're
it's
not going down
old
there.
and it's nice. And they're like, there's nothing nice about an old basement.
I
But
love
there
the
is.
smell of old basements.
Yes.
Really?
Yeah.
Yes, the
Yeah.
musty smell.
Well,
To
This
die
is
for.
why we're in real estate. This is why we're still in real estate.
I'm addicted to the musty
give
smell.
me the smell of an old basement.
Yeah.
We should make candles and we should send to them.
Old
I
musty.
Old musty
I
basement.
would
Okay,
love it.
no, we don't need to do that.
She's
You
like,
would
yeah,
buy-
that stinks. I was like, oh, it smells good.
Bat in a toilet.
Yeah.
Oh, that smells so good.
Reminds me of my parents.
Love it.
Very.
And then you're like yelling out like addresses. That one was like 203 Calhoun Street. That's what we should do. That was actually my house. And I
Okay, well
love
that's
it.
good. That's good. So we're gonna have past
Anybody
clients that are very
And it
mad.
was an old basement, but I
I
love
saw
the
the
smell of
house.
it. Yes, you did. Oh, goodness gracious.
Okay.
So, no more stories because we don't.
Yeah. We have plenty more. We can
Yeah, there's
We do
plenty
have
more
more.
about other stuff.
days.
About other stuff.
But that,
The next.
I knew this was mostly about animals and one child.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
we have other
That
stories.
is an animal. I mean,
One of-
human beings are actually
One
animals.
of our
if they
stories
bite
have to do
you,
with a boat.
we're gonna animal
One of our
category.
stories has to do with a boat.
Oh.
Maybe we'll tell that one day.
Oh. I don't know. I have a boat and I don't know if I want to know
No,
about that.
not your boat. Remember the accident with the boat on
Oh.
closing day?
Yes.
A
Oh
little,
my gosh.
a little foreshadowing.
For episode 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe episode
Progress
3. We'll see. We'll
disclosure.
tell.
Oh, that was.
We'll
a
tell
rough
some other
morning.
stories, but yeah.
All right. Well, we are done for today, I think.
Yes, yes.
Thanks for
Episode 2 is
listening.
a wrap. Yay!
Bye. That's the end.
All right.
Clap on. Clap on.
Everybody stop their